Scrappy people, Traci Reed here today, coming at you with a TRD Sketchy Sunday layout. This is the sketch that we're going to be using today, and I am scrapping this photo of all of our moving boxes lined up everywhere. I printed out a bunch of extra moving boxes to sort of do the cascade in the middle, and I have a couple of ideas. I'm not quite sure where we're going yet other than that, but we'll get there. Alright, so we're going to start with what we know, which is I want to cascade those boxes, and I also need a paper at the top and the bottom. So I cut this Traveler's Notebook size paper in half, and I'm going to rip one side in half, and I know that the rip on the sketch goes a little bit like diagonal, so I'm going to rip it a little bit diagonally, and that's going to give me the top and the bottom half of one page. And then I'm going to take this top half and I'm going to start my tear on the other side exactly where that top half ends, so that when they are put together they are a continuous piece on both the top and the bottom. So there we go. That was a little hack to use one paper on both sides when you don't have like big enough paper to spread across the whole page. So I'm going to put these down, and then I'm going to start with my boxes and my photo. So this is a photo of us. We are about to move. When I'm recording this, we are a couple days out from closing on our house, and when you see this, we will be closing on our house tomorrow. So we are in the stages of packing where everything is everywhere and there are boxes just lining every surface, because I'm pretty efficient when it comes to everything. But I've been packing all month knowing that this was going to happen. So, everything is pretty much done at this point, other than just getting out of the house and moving things over and unpacking. So I thought that I would do a photo. I have a photo like this from when we moved into this house. And so I wanted to do a complimentary photo as well. So because there are boxes everywhere in this photo, and obviously the photo is not very interesting in and of itself, I decided to use all these boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick down this photo first, and then I'm going to build around the photo. Now I want the photo to be sort of centered, not completely centered, and tilted to sort of match the sketch, but I want it to look like, I decided while I was doing this that I wanted it to look like there were things sort of going into or coming out of the boxes. So I have all of these knick-knack sort of things that are in the My Oasis collection. And so I'm going to start by popping up a few of these boxes on Pop Dots, but most of them are going to be flat on the page, just to give it a little bit of visual interest and height, because I'm repeating the same thing over and over and over again, it can be a little bit visually boring. So I'm going to start making it less boring by adding some height. So we're going to pop that one up on a Pop Dot, and then we're just going to stick these other ones down. I'm trying to make sure that I'm tilting them at different angles so they're not all tilted the same way, just to sort of reflect the chaos that is moving. So I'm just angling them jauntily and making sure that there is space between them as well. They're not like completely overlapping, because in the space between them, first of all, I do want a little bit of white space on this page, like in the gray part, but also in the space between them is where I'm going to be putting all of the little bits and bobs of the layout, all of the, sorry, I'm still recovering from the big C word, so my brain is not functioning. Not that it ever does when I do these voiceovers anyway, but I'm stumbling for my words a little bit more than normal. But that's where I'm going to put all the little knick-knack pieces. So I've got all of these boxes down now. I'm leaving space at the bottom for my titles, and I decided that I needed to add in my titles with some Cocoa Daisy letter stickers before I added in my knickknacks or anything else, because the title is going to be a little bit long. On the original sketch, it sort of arcs around the top and the bottom on both sides of the page, so I'm going to do that on this page as well. So I decided to go with boxes on boxes, 9 days. I'm actually going to add another word to that in just a second, but this is the the basis of my title, and we're arcing around just like the original. And now I'm going to start adding in all of these little pieces of ephemera. I drew mostly potted plants, some books, and that sun as well, but it's a lot of plants, which is fine because I'm moving a lot of plants. But you can see how this starts overlapping and building on the collage portion of this page. It works out really well. I really love the way this page came out. Came out better than I hoped it would, which is always a good thing. So I'm just trying to, I don't mind if I cover up the words on the boxes. Obviously it says the same thing over and over again. I just want to make sure that you can still see that they are boxes in the end. So I'm going to add this moving day, and then I'm going to add in to the title so that it says moving day in 9 days. So it's not actually one large title, it's two titles, right? Boxes on boxes is one title, and then when I added moving day, now it says moving day in 9 days. And actually that's wrong now because we are getting to close early, so, but that's okay. We don't need to know. So I'm going to start putting all these down, and actually surprisingly for this page, I don't come in with anything like enamel dots or anything else, because when I get all of these bits and pieces down, I decide that this page actually looks really great the way that it is. The height that the pop dots gave the page made it interesting enough without having to add more texture. I'm going to add in some journaling, but that is about it. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything looks great and works here. I was going to add 2 of these journal strips, but I didn't like the way that they covered the boxes, so I'm just going to add 1 below my title, even though that doesn't really match the sketch. That's okay. Sketches are just there for inspiration, not for a perfect recipe. You're going to have to adapt a sketch almost every time. We're getting there. I want to put this big sun, actually, so the collection is sort of bohemian in vibe, and I actually have a mirror that looks like that sun that I've had, my goodness, since I was a child. So the sun really worked both with the collection and with my own like personal stuff, so I really wanted to include that on this page as well. And then I decided that I needed a couple of interesting things that weren't necessarily knickknacks going in boxes, so I decided to use these simple arced rainbows. And I like the way that they add a little bit of pattern to the jumble of boxes that we've got going on here, so that worked out really well. Trying to decide if I want to add in more stuff or if I want to leave the gray white space. I thought that this was probably a little bit big. I was gonna pull this up and stick it under there, but I had to cut it because it was definitely too tall. So I'm just gonna snip the bottom half of this vase off and stick it under there. There we go. So we're getting close here. I just need to add in my journaling, maybe another piece here or there. That's kind of what I'm contemplating now. I like the idea of these stacked half circles sort of popping out, but I decided that instead I'm just going to keep the gray space. I'm going to cut these apart so that I can add in my holes and trim everything up, and then I'm gonna call it good after I add my journaling. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link to the sketch challenge in the description box below, and on that blog post there are links to the My Oasis collection and any other collection that the team used to play with the sketch. All right, I'll see you next time. Thank you.